Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women on the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge. At the time during the electioneering process of the All Progressives Congress, the vice presidential candidate highlighted the expectation of Nigerians. He actually said there was a time they had a campaign somewhere in northern Nigeria, and the president-elect was telling him at that time that look into the face of those people. What can you see? He says, well, not just in ordinary Nigerians, but the president-elect highlighted the expectation and the anxiety of the Nigerian people that if they win elections, they must produce results in a matter of days. On the show today, we're looking at Transition 2015, Hope from Tomorrow. That's a big question that we're asking. And we're joined by retired Colonel HASSAN STAN-LABO. He's a security consultant, veteran public affairs analyst, and a friend of the house. Thank you for finding time to come on the show today.
Thank you, Nifemi. I appreciate it.
How exactly would you describe the concussion of incidences at the tail end of the Jonathan administration? Of course, there's the place of hiring and firing people, but recently it's the agony of the full scarcity that came up. He, from his own point of view, has termed it sabotage. Do you also share a similar opinion?
No, I don't share similar opinions, you know, in respect of that, because frankly speaking, most of the bulk of the actions going on at this dying period of the administration don't really resonate too well with me. Some of the actions would have been avoidable. For instance, those in respect of appointments. I don't see why those appointments should be forthcoming. If you feel so bitter and there is a need to remove somebody for some, remove him, let the man who is next to him be acting so that the incoming administration could appoint somebody in a substantive capacity, since they will be the ones to work with them. Rather than appointing somebody for me at the tail end, what if I come in and I don't really think he's got what it takes to be there? Lacking in competence and capacity, which these are the things for which, I mean, most of us have held the outgoing administration responsible for. They have this niche for appointing individuals who are very weak in capacity. That's what has made this government really failed completely. Very weak in capacity. People who really don't know what to do. Man management, very poor. Very poor.
Who are these people that seem to possess so very poor?
Ranging from the cabinet down. I have always said it on most platforms. Jonathan's cabinet does not really impress me. When I look at the faces on his cabinet, I'm never impressed.
Does that have anything to do with regards to the preparation of the leadership? Because there's a school of thought that the kind of leadership we've had thus far has been accidental in nature.
I would rather want to dwell on why his assemblage of ministers are always made up of individuals who are lacking in capacity. It is because it is a bulk of political patronage. We only have very few technocrats, and you can see the technocrats shining. The Agric Minister, the Trade and Investment Minister, these are the guys shining on that cabinet. After those two, who else? Okonjo-Iweala performed very well under Obasanjo's first period. After that time when she rejected the Foreign Affairs ministerial posting, went and came back for the second time. Then under Jonathan, she's been a complete, total failure. Total failure, if you ask me. It's been one argument or the other, defending one missing money or the other, and so on, leading to Lamido's dismissal and all the rest stuff. We could all put them together. We're Nigerians.
The president-elect recently talked about the fact that he wouldn't allow governors to lord ministerial appointees on him. What does that imply relative to the Jonathan administration?
Very fine approach. That is how it should be. We shouldn't allow politics to keep going on when we should be talking of governance. The problem is at times we have this difficulty in placing the dividing line between politics and governance. General Buhari is saying, look, mind yourself with your commissioners and let me be consigned with those that come in as my ministers. And for Christ's sake, what business has a governor with who becomes his minister? Let's face it, if not share politics. I'm happy we are beginning to see all the signs that, look, it's not going to be business as usual. That's why I laugh at those who say he'll be pocketed by this, he'll be pocketed by that. Buhari, you want to pocket Buhari? Then you don't know who is Buhari.
But do you foresee some friction? Because if you say it's not going to be business as usual.
If you think there wouldn't be stepping on toes, there will be. It's not whether we foresee frictions. There will be frictions. We should be talking of how do we manage the frictions. Okay? How do we engage in our damage control when they come up? If you think there wouldn't be frictions, then forget it. Then you better go to heaven, where angels should be making sure they don't step on anybody's toes. They will be stepping on toes.
You share a similar background with the president-elect. I'm referring to your years with the Nigerian military.
Yes, right.
The fear of many Nigerians is it possible that we have someone who spent decades with the Nigerian military suddenly become a Democrat? Are we foreseeing some military approach or strategy to democratic governance in this new dispensation?
Definitely there will be. General Buhari is a transformed gentleman. He has moved on from being the dictator ruler to being a Democrat. But that does not do away with certain principles that will be in the interest, in the national interest rather. That I'm a Democrat does not mean I allow thieves and corrupt individuals to prevail in the name of democracy, which is our old definition of democracy, which we are pulling out from. You allow people to get away with things in the name of democracy. It shouldn't happen.
But democracy actually have processes.
Sure, good. And those processes will be followed. The checks and balances expected from the legislature and the executive arm will definitely be there. And that is why, mind you, he has said, I'm not interested in who emerges in the legislative arm, in your leadership. Go sort yourself out. Whoever emerges, I'm ready to work with him. Does not tell you that he's showing enough respect to the principles of
democratic
democratic principles and processes.
Okay.
That look, I belong to the executive. Let them run their affairs. By interfering now, you start creating friction. If you look back to history, that was part of the problem we had before Tambawal eventually emerged. And we all know the history of how Tambawal emerged, which eventually got to a level where he even had to jump ship into the present APC dispensation and so on.
Well,
so he's mindful of all those mistakes.
Okay, well, just recently, the outgoing president is telling the incoming president not to single him out on the probe. What do you make of such statement?
I don't expect anybody who has nothing to hide to be scared. I didn't expect such a comment.
He's saying he should not be singled out, that he should probe all the past presidents.
You will not teach him who to probe and who not to probe. And maybe he should be reminded that from what we see, the government, even though Nigerians are saying, look, probe because we need our money. And the pressure to probe is actually on Buhari. But like some of us will say, if we want to go on probing, at the end of the day, Nigerians will not ask us how many people did you probe? What did you achieve for us? Have you made bread and butter cheap for us? Can Iya Amala, her price for selling Amala, can it come down for those who want to patronize her? Has the price of Fura de Nono come down? These are the things that Nigerians will judge him with. And that is why even when the administration want to go into probing, there will be a limit so that we don't spend all our time probing without achieving certain things. If school fees does not come down because you are probing, school fees is going up. You are probing, price of Amala is going up. You are probing. At the end of the day, this is what the ordinary man on the street will ask you. Because hope you know all these your problems. In most cases, the ordinary man on the street does not even understand what you are doing. His own is how does it translate into better life for him? That is what matters. How does his little 18,000 naira which you pay him per month and which you are owing him about 8 months now, how does it fetch a good life for him later on? Those are the little things as simple as that that you can use in pleasing the man on the street.
Without trying to preempt the incoming administration, but we can recall that at some time the president-elect had told the incoming administration that they have nothing to worry about. The body language there was that we are not going to probe. We're not go. What they said actually was, there's no we can look behind and then look forward at the same time. What are your expectations on the incoming administration as regards this?
I want us to be very realistic in looking at these issues. One, even if the government hesitates, there is no way the government will not go into some province. Because how do we, there is nothing on ground to start off this government with. And that is why by the time we'll be discussing the issue of the citizenry being patient enough with the incoming government, we should all know why. There is nothing on ground. Nigeria as a country borrowed money to pay April salary. It means Nigeria is going to borrow. They've not paid till now because maybe they are still scouting for where to borrow. Then they pay and say, thank God, and wash their hands and hand over to Buhari. Where will Buhari get money to pay June salary? The coffers is empty. Our ECA account is completely empty, drained down, the entire 60 billion. Nigeria is owing 4.2 trillion naira. We could go on and on and on and on.
But the finance
So
minister
tell me why the man, just a minute, tell me why the man will not ask certain questions that will make some people say, can we call Mr. A to find out, Mr. B to find out? All those calling to find out, that's proving that has commenced.
So the finance
At least
minister
let's gather something. Okay, we agree you have carried 20 billion. What can you give us to pay salary now? Why we keep talking? And so on.
But the finance minister is saying Nigeria is not broke. So
I say Okonjo-Iweala is a failure. If you are going by the pronouncements from your Okonjo-Iweala with all her figures, Nigeria is said to be the largest economy in Africa. Yet, Nigeria has the highest number of hungry people on the surface of the earth.
The international...
Over 60 or nearly 70% of us live on less than $2 per day income. Tell me.
The international community probably wouldn't agree with you because I understand that Okonjo-Iweala was recently given an honorary award at the University of Yale for her tremendous contribution for growth and national development in our home country. So for you to say she's a failure, University of Yale probably do not agree outrightly with you.
An organization 2 weeks back did me a formal letter asking me to come for an award. I replied asking, what have I done to merit this award? I said, I hope what is going on in my country has not commenced in the West. In my country called Nigeria, we gather thieves and rogues and give them awards. People who we know have not made any achievement. Even national awards, not just any awards. I said, I don't see how I merit this. I have not gotten a reply till today. If I were hungry for awards, I would have picked the next plane to England to pick up an award and then make sure people like you are there to capture it and so on, and all the newspapers and televisions in Nigeria will blow it up.
Doing the paparazzi.
And then I'll be adjusting Babariga, acting big man. Well, look, I don't take most of those awards serious. When you see the serious ones, you know, when they read the profiles and the CVs and so on, you know these guys, yeah, they really merit it.
Let's get back to the president-elect.
Yes, please.
One of the things he probably has done in recent times was to say that he wants this inauguration celebration to be low-key in solidarity with the happenings across the country, probably making reference to the economic reality of the people. But in your opinion, your informed opinion, what are your expectations, you know, of this incoming administration in the area of cutting government cost and spending?
I see a great deal of lessons for us, and that's why at times When some people say, look, we thank God, Buhari is the Messiah, I say no, Buhari is not the Messiah. Buhari is the forerunner. He is the John the Baptist. If only the steps Buhari would be taking now had been taken before, he would have been the Messiah. But he is just going to lay the foundations for a greater Nigeria. I see him as our John the Baptist that has arrived. Now, let me answer your question. I foresee a lot of cuts in governance. I see a lot of blockages. I see leakages being blocked. I foresee a trimming down of our ministries. You have how many ministries now? 42 or how many? I was made to understand. Trailer load of ministers all doing nothing. I learned he is going to have just 19 ministers, if I'm correct by the latest information leaking out as at day before yesterday also. 19 ministries, calling for 19 ministers. No ministers for and ministers for, what do you call them when you want to do all those your PDP rubbish? All those rubbish and mentality will be dropped. If you say minister for health, well, no minister for health. No minister for health and minister of a minister. And then you just duplicate these things, and we are all working and feeding just 20 or 30 people in government. All those rubbish should be cut down. I foresee a situation where we are budgeting, oh my God, budgeting 1 or 2 billion naira, or is it or whatever it's called, for cutleries in the presidential kitchen annually. Even in my house, you think if my wife submits a bill every 1st of January, darling, we're changing our set of cutleries. Even if it is 1 kobo she's demanding for, I will not ask her whether something is wrong with her. You mean every year we change cutleries? Even if I have HIV, will it remain on the cutlery? Why are we changing these cutleries? Every year Nigeria spends 1 or 2 billion changing cutlery in the presidential villa. You don't have to be told that such money ends up in people's pockets. Because the Nigerians will know, will never change those cutleries. All those rubbish and nonsense will stop. There are all sorts of leakages. I have picked our budget and looked at it. When you come under, and that's why I keep saying that the template for our budget, we should not use the same template for every ministry. The template you use for Ministry of Defense shouldn't be the template you use for Ministry of Works and Housing. Under Ministry of Defense, the template will have uniforms. You agree with me? Because Air Force, Navy, they all wear uniforms. That's right. Why do you have uniforms reflected again under Ministry of Environment? But what are they using uniform for? Now, and they will vote money there. They will vote money there. So such monies end up in people's pockets. These are the sort of leakages we must do away with. We're Nigerians. We know how to build up our budget. That's why when they read budget and tell you so trillions, I just laugh, because less than 1/4 of that is what is actually going in.
But as you actually reeled out a lot of challenges that are before the president-elect, how do you see him rising above this challenge when he himself has said that Nigerians should actually be very patient with him, looking at what he has ahead of him?
Yes, of course. And this is where the media comes in. I expect the media to really be able to let the people know what the true situation is on ground. I expect the media to actually let the people know that we are building a new Nigeria. So, we must be patient with the leadership and see that we are able to come out with the Nigeria of our expectations at the end of the day. This is not the time for workers to be crying for increment in salary, for instance. Your 18,000 naira, they have not been able to pay you. They are borrowing money to pay. You are asking for increment. Where? You want the man to go and thief? So these are the things. We must also, as followers, show understanding towards the leadership. And say, well, please just keep leading us, carry us along. Let's see how we can manage situations to the point that at least we'll stop borrowing. We are paying the 18. We'll see how we move on comfortably to the point where we can say, well, can we increase this 18 to 28? And so on.
Is this patience quantifiable? Can you put a date to it? Because Nigerians are very practical now. Buhari has 4 years to spend in office. How many more days, how many years do we have to be grossly patient before we start kicking?
That is part of the grouse the gentleman had with the transition committee of the outgoing government. I expected a situation where the outgoing transition committee would sit to discuss with the present transition committee of the incoming government, so that they rub minds enough such that they actually know how deep our problems are. Like it is, there's so much concealing going on. People cannot open their mouth to tell you how bad the situation is yet, because they just want to hurry, hand it over to you as if it's a relay race, and then dash away and run.
But the Vice President is saying they are ready to be called upon to answer any question the incoming administration has.
Good. He handed over the reports yesterday.
About, I think, day before yesterday.
So they have to study it within yesterday and today. Ask questions between now and tomorrow 29. Swear in. And then, what are we saying? You lost this election on March 28th. I want us to be as realistic as we can. From March 28th to May 28th, you know you have 2 months. You have told the man, I have lost it, congratulations. Fine, we'll all clap for you. You go back home, what do you tell yourself? I have to prepare my notes. I have to hand over to this gentleman. I've got to do this on good time so that he's able to study it, we'll rub minds over it, we're able to discuss it and so on, so that he actually knows where to take off. He knows how bad the situation is. He sees to what extent I have fared on some issues and so on. I expect an interface between the 2 presidents, the Secretary of Government, and so on. This is the extent to which we have gone on power.
But should this be
an
excuse for an APC government that seemed to have painted a picture for the electorate before the election? They seem to have told us that they understood what was wrong with Nigeria, and they had a blueprint to make it right. Should this be an excuse for
free
them?
food for students in schools, pay salaries to those who have not started working? They saw the Nigeria the way it is, and they promised all of this.
Are you gentlemen, are you guys trying to tell me that there is no need for a handover note?
Oh, no, not exactly. I was
are
only
you trying
asking,
to tell me that there is no need for interface?
There is need.
So what that is the point I am making.
That should be an
The question
excuse.
is,
Nobody is saying it's an excuse. APC as a party has its manifesto. Whether you talk, you don't talk, we know what we want to do. And that was why the man abandoned you and moved on to Europe anyway, to sort out his problems and look for people who can help him run Nigeria. Because you are not ready to help him run Nigeria. When I mean you, I mean the outgoing government. If it has taken you this long just to discuss with me so that I can know where you have reached on some issues, and you are beginning to play ball with it, already I know the coffers are empty, and so let me look for people outside who can assist me. So that by the time I take off and I cry for assistance here and there, you have been borrowing to pay salaries in April, you are probably going to borrow to pay this May. I don't know what the situation is in June, whether there will be enough money to pay. At least let me look at people who, if I say, can I have this, they can give me without interest, and I can pay my salaries and see how I adjust my figures around, and until gradually I find my feet on ground.
traditionally.
That's why he abandoned all your prayers, and so you want to go and mock God? You can't mock God. If you like, organize 1,000 prayers. If I were him, I would not be there.
Traditionally, every new administration seems to come in with a particular number of agenda. For the Goodluck Jonathan administration, it was 7 points transformational agenda. And that also seemed to point to the fact that this is what they are prioritizing in the next couple of years. Have you been able to identify the point of priority for this incoming administration, especially for the Nigeria of 2015, and what the needs of Nigerians are?
The beacons for activities and areas of what do I call it, areas that will call for immediate attention and so on, have always been laid out. All through the campaign promises of Mr. President, he kept hammering on 3 things: our security situation, the economy, and
unemployment?
no, unemployment goes with the economy. Yes, economy. The security situation, the economy, and corruption.
Okay, that's right.
Those are the 3 planks on which his administration is really going to. Those 3 planks will forge the arrowhead of activities in his administration. putting the economy in good shape, which includes, by extension, to unemployment situation in the country, which is a major problem, ensuring that every Nigerian is safe within the territorial, integrity of Nigeria, whether northeast or south, every Nigerian must be safe. And then, of course, corruption. I don't know whether the war against corruption might be coming back, but if I were him, sincerely, I would relaunch the war against corruption. As government officials and so on, you must be wearing the badges, just like we did when we were 5 young officers. It was a thing of pride. And with all that, before you know what, a lot of discipline will fall into place. The entire Nigerian society needs to be straightened out. We've gone haywire when it comes to discipline, completely. I think with the sort of leadership coming in now, and with all we are seeing, you saw how you heard of how he rejected limousines lined up by your embassy, and told you it's a private visit. I didn't tell you I was coming, so how come all these limousines? I don't blame him. They will hire those limousines. After he's gone, they will tell you they hired it for 450 billion naira. Use it to sweep the last money and go.
Are you looking at the replication of the war against indiscipline model that he came with in his first coming?
Yes.
Referring to Buhari, do you see, a resurrection of why?
I will not be surprised if why comes into place again.
How about the EFCC, the other agencies we have on ground? Are you saying they are not?
No, EFCC is different. But don't talk about living up to a situation. Your EFCC is not living up to a situation. When we're going to discussing the issue of strengthening government institutions, we can now begin to discuss how we put EFCC in very sound footing. It must be given all it needs. EFCC does not have to look at the president before carrying out one action.
The chairman is claiming that they lacked funding.
Sorry, please. EFCC should have the authority to come during Federal Executive Council meetings. After Federal Executive Council meetings, invite 2 ministers for questioning. That is the EFCC I want to see working. After the entire fake, 2 ministers are going for questioning. And by tomorrow, the press is telling us what's happening with them. That is the EFCC I want to see. Not EFCC that will be at the motor park catching pickpockets when politicians are in the office signing off our billions. And you say you are EFCC? You are not seeing those ones signing your billions away. It is pickpockets at motor parks.
So are you looking at the resurrection of another agency? War against
that same agency. And that's why Buhari has told you that we don't need new laws. The problem we have is how to make sure the laws we have now work. And what makes a law work in Nigeria is the leadership. When you turn and look at your president, he's corrupt. It's an excuse for yourself to pocket your own and go. When you turn and look at your president, he's a man who is spitting fire from his eyes. You touch 1 kobo, you pay for it. Nobody will tell you to leave that 1 kobo there. It's not your money. It's government money. It's meant for Nigeria. It's meant to take care of the interests of Nigerians.
But how democratically compliant will Y be if it's resurrected at this time?
The entire rules or the entire papers making up Y will be looked at and make sure it does not violate any form of any aspect of our fundamental human rights. That I call you for questioning, I've not violated your right. If you resist arrest, police will arrest you. He has not violated your right. If you had not resisted arrest, the police would have arrested you. And so on.
Let's take a commercial break here. When we come back, we get the closing remarks from our guest on the show today. Stick around. Don't go away.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, we are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy pig, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
Colonel Hassan STAN-LABO is our guest on the show today, and trust me, he's spitting fire. Okay, let's look at the issue. You just came up with one very interesting issue.
Yes, very interesting issue. You know, inauguration is just tomorrow, and earlier the week, there's a group of legal practitioners saying that the president-elect should not be inaugurated because he still has questions to be answered on fake certificates.
Given that that same issue was dropped, you know, by the same people who came to court with it after the elections.
You know, on the lighter mood, I would say that, you know, a good number of persons within the law industry, so to speak, are not too happy that Jonathan did not allow them to harvest like they should have harvested by, you know, accepting that, conceding that he lost the elections. You know, that has cut down.
You're talking about the money at the tribunal.
Yes, at the tribunal and so on. To answer your question, frankly speaking, it's unfortunate that some of us do not really know when to stop. If till now somebody is still talking about Buhari's certificate, I think that person is living in yesterday. It's not living in today. And it's not looking forward to tomorrow. We have passed that bridge already. Even those who said they never knew of his certificate have said we have it. It's with us. Are we new to all that stories? We've crossed that bridge already. Can we allow Nigeria to move forward? If you don't want Nigeria to move forward, we'll leave you where you are and we move on.
We have to let you go now. What are your expectations from Nigerians? Because we understand that the success of every leadership also has a lot to do with cooperation that such gets from the followership. What are your expectations from Nigerians in this coming dispensation?
I want to beckon on Nigerians to show enough patience when the incoming administration comes in. And I'm looking at all strata of the Nigerian society now. You see, we all know the journey we've gone through to be where we are now. We all know how bad things are on ground. Within, in fact, the last few days, 3-4 days, we've seen what is happening. We are in a situation where we are now borrowing to pay salaries. We are in a situation where now we cannot even apply fuel in our gens at home, not to talk of running our industries. Things are so bad. This is the situation in which the new administration is coming in. This is not the time for us to begin to ask for a pay hike. It's not realistic. This is the time for us to join hands like a family and say, how can we improve this situation? We must show patience, more so that we know the man we are showing patience to is a man who understands, who cares. He's been there before. He's not a novice to apex power. He's been there. All we need to do is show him some patience, give him time, and things will improve. Somebody may want to ask me, how much time do you want to give, this and that and so on. Let's give him reasonable time. He has 4 years. We have given him 4 years. After 2 years, we can begin to ask him what is happening. But I can assure you, the man I know we have there, after 1 year, he himself will be telling us what he thinks he has done.
Thank you very much for finding time to come today. We've been speaking with security consultant, veteran public affairs analyst, retired Colonel Hassan STAN-LABO. It's always very interesting to have you on the show. Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
Subsequently, we are also looking forward to host you yet again.
Thanks so much.
Probably eventually if you get a ministerial appointment, you also grant us exclusive. You grant us exclusive interviews on the show. It's been an interesting show, isn't it, Tayo? I mean, he just brought a shine on it.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. And he, of course, showed to have so much faith in the incoming administration. And, you know, my only belief is that, my hope is that he's not disappointed. At the end of 4 years,
Aggressive.
as a lot of Nigerians are.
In the course of the administration, we'll also bring him back to, have him evaluate
analyze
the
what
developing issues. That's it on the show today. We have an exclusive show for you tomorrow. It's Inauguration Day. We'll be here 24 hours giving you updates as regards what's happening in the Federal Capital Territory. Of course, they say it's quite historic for Nigeria. It's the first time that the opposition party will be winning the presidential seat. And it's much more historic because even the president, the outgoing president, conceded defeat before official announcements of results were made by INEC. The expectation of Nigerians are high as Buhari takes over tomorrow. Almost they want him to start working almost immediately. But we'll be here to show you the glam, the pictures, the sound, all the way from the Federal Capital Territory. I'm Nifemi Okuntoye.
And I particularly look forward to a peaceful transition ceremony, of course, free of hitches, and we see security operatives getting very ready. So just wait till tomorrow and see the new Nigeria that you are really aching to see. My name is Omotayo Alo. Thanks for staying with us through the course of the program.
Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women on the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.